What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for watching another video. We're actually going to be working on my Volkswagen Tiguan today, and we're going to be starting the little performance mods that I want to do on this car. And we're going to be doing something simple today, but it is a very effective mod for this platform of car. So we're going to be installing an inlet pipe and an intake hose on the Tiguan today. It's the one from ECS Tuning. It is a big bore one. These are really nice. They're not expensive. I'm going to have a link to both of these down below in the description, but this is the intake hose for it. A simple mod, and essentially what this does, it just frees up airflow. These cars, especially the Tiguan, are pretty slow from the factory. They only make like 184 horsepower, weighs almost 4,000 pounds. This will make the car breathe a little bit better and be a little peppier. It will feel better on the throttle when you are driving the car. And an inlet pipe is one of the best mods you can do for the intake system on these cars. And that's not just for the Tiguan, your Golfs, your GTIs, A3, S3 Golf Rs. This is one of the best intake mods you can do for these cars. So I'm going to be replacing the stock one and the stock intake hose with these ECS parts. And again, this will be down below in the description box from this video. Okay, so this is going to be one of the easier installs that you're going to be able to do for these cars. So we're going to be removing the inlet pipe, which is down there. We're going to be removing that T30 Torx, and then we're going to just be replacing this intake pipe as well. Everything else is going to stay stock. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is remove that T30. You're going to want to make sure you have an extension because this is a little deep down into the bay, but it shouldn't be on too tight. So I'm going to loosen, there we go, that up first. I'm going to have a very long contraction. I cannot find my long extension, but this will work. So that's going to come out. Now I'm just going to loosen that and leave that there. Now we need to remove the PCV hose from the intake hose. I'm going to get this clamp off first because it's a little tricky to get the PCV hose off. And this is a 7mm. I'm using a swivel because it is a little hard to get to, the angle where this clamp sits, so it just makes it a little easier for me. And now I'm going to loosen this to try to get this off here and then move the inlet pipe back, and then it'll give me more clearance to get off this PCV hose. Now we're going to remove this clamp from here. I'm using like the special little hose clamp plier that removes. So this I'm going to move back out of place like so. Now this should be able to pop off like that. Got to remove the wire from the mass airflow sensor. Now this entire piece has been able to come off easily. That's the clamp I was referring to as well. Kind of hard to get to. Now that leaves everything else exposed. Now all I have to do is remove the inlet pipe with the PCV and then start piecing together the new one. Now to get the stock inlet pipe out, you have to push it towards the firewall after you remove the T30. You don't have to take the T30 all the way out. People sometimes drop it and lose it, and that's not good. But as you can see now, you just move it towards the firewall, turning it that way, and then this will remove. Now this will give me enough space to probably easier way to remove the inlet pipe from the PCV hose right here. And I'm gonna do that right now. I think for a little bit of persuasion, I'm just gonna put a flathead in here because again, this is kind of difficult. And then I should be able to remove, these are on pretty tight. So you don't wanna break the clips either because that's how this is held in all together. So just a little, it's popping out, almost there. Like I said, you might want to use a little flathead to kind of move these clips up so it releases from the inlet pipe, because you are going to have to obviously reuse this and you don't want to break it. Okay, it's about to come out, some wiggling and finessing, and there we go. So the stock inlet pipe is now out. I'm going to show you the difference between this one and the aftermarket one, and now we have the PCV hose by itself, which again, we need to reuse this for the new one. This is the stock one, this is the aftermarket one, and as you can see, this one is much bigger. It flows better. It doesn't bottleneck down to where it connects to the turbo. So this will flow a lot better and it's going to be a lot more efficient for the car over the stock one. So again, big difference. It's going to flow better, looks nicer, and it's definitely going to be a big difference. Okay, so now we're going to install the new inlet pipe the opposite way. So we're going to put this starting back onto the turbo, and then we're going to turn it once it's in towards the front of the car instead of the opposite way that we did the removal, which was towards the firewall. So once you seat it in place, it's gonna turn like so. There you go, it's already turned into place. Now I'm gonna secure the T30 Torx into place. It should go right on. Just make sure it's tight, perfect. And then the one thing you want to make sure, guys, is that when you do check this out, this inlet pipe, you want it to have minimal play, if not any. So you shouldn't really have any movement. If not, then you did something wrong. You didn't put it on right, or it's not tight enough. Now that this is in place, I think I'm going to do the PCV hose last, because in case I have to move anything, it makes it a lot easier without that on. So now we're going to do the intake hose. Okay, guys, now we're going to install the intake hose on the car. It looks really nice with a nice ECS Tuning logo, but this is going to be installed this way, this part down, this part facing up, so you'll be able to see it all. And I actually disconnected the MAF as well to make it a little easier, to have a little bit more room to maneuver the hose, because this is going to be a tighter fit than the stock one. So, and you want to make sure that the clamp, which this does come with new hardware, is oriented correctly when you go to tighten this down. So you're going to want this to go down as far as possible. I'll sneak this. I'm going to have to open that up a little more, but that's okay. And then this one is going to go onto here as well. And I'm going to have to open up this a little more, not a big deal. That's also going to be a 7mm clamp, just so you guys are aware, at the end. So there we go. And you want to leave the clamp in an orientation where it's going to be easy to tighten and loosen. So I'm going to start this by hand. Make sure that it's nice all the way around. You don't want it to get in the way of the MAF and the intake hose either. Let me move this back a little bit. That should be good. And we're going to tighten this well. I don't want to have any issues with this popping off. And like I said before, guys, you want this oriented in a good way. You don't want to overdo it either, but that should be perfect. And now we got to get to this one. This is going to be the more difficult one. I'm going to try to put the clamp in an easier spot than it was before. I might bring this up, loosen it a little bit, and then reorient it, because you want to be able to get this easier than where the stock one is, so you don't have to use like swivels and all this other stuff. So I'm going to try and orient this in the best way that I can, but I'm going to just open up the clamp a little more. Now, might be able to get a ratchet right here. Yeah, I'm gonna try it that way and see how that goes. Okay, guys, yeah, I kind of like this location of this because there's a little less things in the way. You do have to snake your hand around the intake hose, but you could get a small extension with the 7mm socket and your ratchet in here, and you shouldn't have an issue. So now this should be all nice and tight all the way around. That should be good. I'm gonna check the top one more time. That's good, don't wanna overdo it. You wanna give it a tug, make sure it doesn't pop out, just to make sure everything's nice and tight, which absolutely is. So now the last thing we need to do is reconnect the PCV hose, which is super simple. This is just gonna push into place. Just gotta get this oriented right. There we go. Oh, a little, there we go. It'll click. Now that's locked into place, and I'm gonna reconnect the MAF. If you didn't disconnect the MAF, don't worry about this step, but this literally just pushes on. Great tab, and I'll show you quick too. This literally, you just push this out, like so, push it down, and it comes right out. So then you push this in, it clicks, push that down, all together. Now we're gonna start it up, and let's see, I don't know if it's gonna sound any different, but that is it. And just make sure that the T30 is tight. I know I did that before. So that is your install right there. Okay guys, so this is my first drive. I haven't even done anything. I haven't stepped on it yet, and I'm gonna do it right now, get a little feel and see if anything has changed. Okay, so the one thing that I noticed right off the bat is the induction noise, even with that simple setup, is a lot louder. Like 100%. This car with the complete stock intake system, you couldn't really hear anything. Now when I did step on it, I could easily hear some induction noise coming from the system. The second thing that I'm immediately noticing is that the car does feel a little peppier, and that's basically what I wanted to get out of this car. Is the Tiguan is very sluggish, isn't great responsive wise, and again, it doesn't make a lot of power and it weighs a lot, so that's basically an equation of failure, if that makes sense. Like, it's just set up to just not be a very responsive and snappy car. And obviously this is a family SUV, this isn't supposed to be fast, but there are modifications that do make the vehicle feel better. And honestly, with how affordable a little simple system like this, I think it's absolutely worth it, honestly, so far. I've been driving the car for about 5 minutes and I think the car feels great so far. I don't know if the mic's gonna pick it up, but we'll see. It's gonna be tough. Yeah, you can easily hear the blow off now. And honestly, I feel now it's more direct when I put my foot down. The car wants to go more than before, and obviously the system is now less restrictive. Being that it's less restrictive is obviously gonna feel a lot better. One thing that I'm gonna do, guys, actually, I didn't do it today, I'm gonna do it another day in another video. I'm gonna be doing the stock airbox mod. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. I'm sure you guys have heard of it, but you basically modify your stock airbox to basically flow better. So I'm going to take out that little like dirt grate thing that the intake has on the inside, and then I'm gonna be drilling some holes into where the actual air flows in, because that's completely blocked off from the front of the car. And again, I'm gonna show you guys how to do all that in a separate video. But honestly, so far, this has done exactly what I needed it to do, and honestly I couldn't be happier. It sounds good, the car feels better, and that's exactly what I wanted. But anyways, guys, there's going to be more mods coming for this car in the near future, very near future actually. I'm working with a company right now to try to get this car sorted to make it a little quicker, a little faster. You guys are going to see that in hopefully a future video. But anyways, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. It lets YouTube know that I'm doing a good job. Oh, and I forgot to say, guys, again, the inlet pipe and the intake hose will be linked down below in the description box of this video. So just a reminder, you guys can pick it up from ECS Tuning. Honestly, the quality is good and easy to install. But again, guys, please like, comment, and subscribe. It lets YouTube know that I'm doing a good job. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good day.